All right. Our eye on tech, and we're going to be talking about Pharmarun, which is an online platform where users can find and order pharmaceutical products and services. They emerged the winner of the 2023 Pitch to Win $10,000 startup competition. Teniola Adedeji is the co-founder and CEO of Pharmarun. She joins us now to talk about this and also talk about digitizing healthcare in Nigeria. Congratulations. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So the pitch to win process, explain that. Is it you are in front of judges, you talk about your business model, they ask you some like Dragon's Lair or things like that?
Actually, I think that's a very good comparison. It is a bit like, I would say, the Dragon's Den. So basically you apply and then we're about 14 startups and we got to pitch our solution in front of about 4 judges who are like leaders in the tech ecosystem. We basically walk them through what our product does, the problem which we're trying to solve for, which is basically lack of access to medication. You also had to kind of make your story compelling and relatable so that everyone can see the value in what you're doing.
Great stuff. So $10,000, considering where the exchange rate is right now, that's a lot of money. So how are you going to use that money?
So we spent the last year really just working through our product, ensuring that we were establishing product market fit, talking to our current users. And what we're doing now is we're trying to scale up our operations. We're currently fundraising, so that has definitely helped move the needle a bit in that regard. We want to ensure that we have about 1,000 pharmacies by the end of the year because it's very crucial to the core of what we do. Our platform, we aggregate multiple pharmacies and logistic companies to ensure people get their medication exactly when and where they need it. And for us to deliver the kind of service we want, we need to aggregate more pharmacies across the country, and that money will be put towards doing that.
Now, how important are competitions like Pitch to Win? What does it mean for the tech ecosystem? Is it just about the money, or is there more to it?
I feel like, the money is good, but for me, it's really the least beneficial thing of the product, of the program, really, because at the end of the day, you get exposed to like a lot of people in the ecosystem, which on a good day, you're probably behind your computer trying to send emails to and you don't get to see. There's also there's some sort of validation that comes with winning a pitch competition. You pitch to like judges. A lot of people also get to hear about your product. So there's a lot of exposure as well that comes with it. And I guess just the knowledge and the network you get to leverage during that type of program is definitely worth more than the money. Relationships carry you way along in this kind of system as opposed to the money.
Oh, are there enough of these competitions in Nigeria?
To be fair, I'm not quite sure. I think we have a lot of, competitions on the global scale. So you have like the YCs, the Techsters, but in terms of there being like homegrown competitions like this, there are not quite a lot of them. I'm going to ask this of every tech founder that comes on this show, the funding mix between foreign and domestic investment. There's been this debate that there should be enough money locally to support tech, but another say no, we still need the FX coming in from other. Where do you stand on that? I feel like today we have a lot of VCs here who are homegrown in Nigeria. And we have them, a lot of the foreign ones, to be fair, do want to see that people who are in your system believe in what you're doing and they understand the market better. So I think it's like a fair mix, to be fair. For us, on our own cap table, we have right now, like I would say 50-50 foreign investors and local VCs as well.
Oh, okay. And of course, for our viewers, VCs are venture capital.
Yeah, venture capital.
What does the tech ecosystem need right now? I know that's a huge question. We could probably spend another hour talking about. Maybe if you can just summarize, what does it need now?
So I think we need a lot more collaboration, right? Even among us founders, a lot of people we've seen the problem. There's a huge market in Nigeria, but I think we are all like solving the same problem, and it will be maybe more better if we come together and collaborate so that we can achieve things a bit faster and move the needles better. Also, talent. Right now, we're expecting a lot of people, I would say, relocating, but we're a very populous country. It would make a lot of sense if we're able to train people faster as well, as much as they're going, because we have a lot of Nigerians, we have a lot of upcoming people, but the problem we're experiencing now, I think, is maybe more skilled hands. So if we can train more young tech talents faster, then we'll definitely, move the needle as well.
Are you seeing enough tech talent, or when you come, I gotta say, here in media, Arise News takes in a lot of interns on a regular basis, and these are a lot of them are mass communications graduates. So we get to assess how well, what they know, and so we get to see. So if you ask me about mass communications, I can talk to you about that, but I want to ask you about tech. The skills in the tech space, with what you're seeing, are you impressed? Do we need more? Because you just talked about training just now.
Yes, I feel like we have a lot of upcoming people. There's a gap, I would say, between like the highly skilled people and then the people who are trained. We're not necessarily seeing a lot of mid-level people. And when we talk about tech talent, sometimes people think we're only talking about developers. But then you also have people who are used to like things like product marketing, people who are used to using digital, used to the digital space, really, the tech space. And I think like we have a lot of people who have relocated. They still sort of, for us personally, for example, they still work with us. So we have a lot of people on our team who are Nigerian trained talents who have maybe relocated to other parts of the world, but they still offer their services to us in-house.
All right, I'm going to pull you into a little bit of politics here.
Okay.
Bosun Tijani is a ministerial nominee, of course, found, CC Hub and all that. What do you make of that from the fact that he could be the next ICT digital economy minister and he's one of you? How do you feel about that?
I mean, I think the ecosystem is really excited because for once you have someone who really understands, the struggles and really understands the space, holding that type of position. Also, it definitely would open room for a lot of collaboration, especially for us in the healthcare space. We can do a lot of things, but for us to really move the needle forward, we need a lot of access to governments, private-public partnerships. They're one of the key drivers of, solutions for the tech space. So we're really hopeful that, we'll be able to have open communication with the government. Also, better regulations, policies. Right now, there are a lot of things springing up that, today you built a company based off this thing, and then something just comes and cuts you down. So we're really hoping that you'll foster, more communication within the ecosystem and the government.
So let's talk to tech. How does your company utilize technology for your operations?
So at the core of what we do, we really are just aggregating multiple pharmacies and logistic partners so you can access medication easily. And what happens on our platform is you place your order and then you get connected to the pharmacy based on the proximity, availability, and best pricing. And then the logistics partner also gets paired with the pharmacy, and then your medication gets delivered to you. All happens in under 3 hours. We also work with a lot of businesses as well who use our APIs to connect to these multiple pharmacies all at once.
Okay, great stuff. Now, your team, because we were just talking about training a few minutes ago, is it all Nigerian, or have you had to get over expertise from over outside? What's the mix?
I mean, we have about 15 people today. We are a very Nigerian team. We don't have anybody foreign, but we do have, like I would say, people who like contract staff who I said earlier relocated and are still, advising.
That's the Jackpot syndrome you're talking about,
exactly,
right?
Jackpot syndrome. But yeah, our team is fully Nigerian. We have about 10 people out of our 15 people who are women, and everybody passionate about what we're doing today.
What about challenges you're facing in your operations?
Well, I would say that the state of the economy, really, the rising price of forex, all that type of stuff. Basically, our business is very is product heavy. Really, we're selling medication, and a lot of the medication we do consume in Nigeria today is imported. I don't know if people are aware. The other day, GSK, I think it was just yesterday, there was news about GSK and how, they're exiting Nigeria after 51 years. That's huge. Literally, even in our space, we've been seeing the trend of their pricing going up daily, and it's like tripling, doubling. And that's basically affecting, I think, even the buying power of the average consumer who can't, afford the same brands. Maybe you're used to taking a GSK product and you can't take that anymore because, it's become ridiculously expensive. There's also infrastructure. Our business is really heavy on logistics as well. So, if we don't have good roads, if it's very difficult for us to get to people in certain parts of town, then that also impacts, the type of things we do today.
So look, we've had you today. We had the CEO of Clafia last week. 2 weeks, a week prior to that, we had Pharmacy Africa in here as well. So all of you seem to be in that space. You've talked about collaboration. Can the space, work effectively with you all working in silos, almost doing similar things?
I feel like that's one of the beauty of what we are building. We are an aggregator, and we want to, put as many people as possible together in one place. So it's easier for you to access, let's say, Clafia's services. For example, we work with Clafia today, and we're also big believers in mutually beneficial relationships. On Pharmarun's portal today, it's not just the medicines. You can also talk to a doctor. That service is powered by Clafia, for example. You can book a test. It's powered by another health tech company. So at the core of what we are doing at Pharmarun, we really believe that for us to win, we have to work together, which is why our platform is really aggregating these multiple services in one place.
Makes sense. As far as operations are concerned, I mean, whenever I ask an online company if they're in different states, it seems kind of silly, but I mean, because it's online. But yeah, what's the footprint like?
So today we deliver in about 25 cities in Nigeria. We are like extremely strong in terms of places where we have our most pharmacies in about 5 cities, which are Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Ogun State, and Ibadan.
Okay.
And that's basically how we do. So part of what I said we want to do with the money is really to scale our operations. We're looking before like December to have scaled to 36 states and have over 1,000 pharmacies in our network.
Well, if you are in Nigeria, probably in the you are in the largest market, right? Technically, because of the size. Is there would you look to expand outside of the country if you get the scale you need?
Yes, definitely. The problem we're solving for, it's not really a Nigerian problem, it's an African problem. So if you go to other parts of Africa, again, healthcare system is definitely fragmented. So we definitely are looking to scale to other countries. There's a company that, we were in this accelerator earlier on in the year, and there's a company in Rwanda who's also trying to do this. So there are definitely like pockets of opportunities in different parts of Africa that we are looking to scale to.
Now, coming back to scaling within Nigeria and to the other cities, what would you have to see there that would allow for you to get in? Is it the availability of pharmacies, or is there going to be an infrastructure issue there as well?
I think one of the challenges we would say today would be more of infrastructure and just really getting the pharmacies that meet our onboarding process. So some of these pharmacies have infrastructure challenges, like if you're in a pharmacy, for example, that maybe doesn't really use internet or you don't have access to internet, those are the challenges. Or maybe maybe still taking your sales on paper. So we have to kind of leverage those type of people first before we can pull everybody into the system. So I'll say that's really one of our challenges in terms of expanding our network today. Okay,
you hit on something there, because when people go to even hospitals to go and access your medical records, they're manual. Is that still an issue for much of the healthcare industry?
Definitely, because even just I think in terms of the people who are accessing healthcare, we like to say that, data is everywhere and everybody has access to mobile phones, but how many of us are really using this in our day-to-day lives? So it's definitely still an issue. Part of the big things I think for people to win in healthcare really is we have to fix our data collection system. Even like today, you go to the pharmacy and, the medicines you buy, it's not stored for people to access it when you go to the hospital. So you go to the hospital, the information is disconnected. That's part of also what we're trying to build, like, I guess, on another layer of our platform. So you as a person, when you're consuming medication outside your hospital system, you have access to that data and you're able to also, pull it into the hospital system down the line. We do work with HMOs today. We work with about 5 of the leading insurance companies in Nigeria. How they use us is they're able to access our network of pharmacies through APIs so that their users also have access to these pharmacies and they can get medication delivered to them. So today is part of, I think, what I said, even in terms of the pharmacies we want to aggregate in other parts of the town, other parts of the country that aren't as, I would say tech savvy. It's definitely affected our penetration. We do have like other plans to sort of do some USSD type of system down the line. But for today, we are, working at people that are able to basically use the products. I think that's part of the things we see that governments can help with. If we're able to have more penetration, infrastructure that will basically help people access these tech products, then it will definitely help people's healthcare. So I think the beauty of what we do, to be fair, is that there's this thing we call like buyer users. So we have people who are maybe in Lagos or in the more developed parts, but they have family back in these places where the services aren't as great, right? So they don't have pharmacies in those places. So you might have a mother in the village who maybe needs medication. You want to ensure she gets the best thing. So what we've done is that sometimes we have to deliver, from states who have these medicines, who have this infrastructure, all the way to your state. So we've built a network as well of logistic partners who are able to reach those type of areas and to get your medication to you.
Teniola Adedeji, co-founder, CEO, Pharmarun. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate your time. Congrats again on winning.
Thank you.
You're watching the Global Business Report here on the Rise News. More after the break. Do stay.